Hey guys, sorry, light. Need to get him in the light. Oh, screw it, my own shadow's blocking it. Oh, whatever. Sorry, sound a little upset. I was recording this video and I was a good 5 minutes in. Then it said I ran out of storage, so that cut off my recording. Oh, I think it was a good, no, it wasn't 5, it was a good 8 minutes in. The hell was that green? Yeah, it was a good 8 minutes in, and it's just like, what? Come on. I gotta start over. I'm not repeating everything I said. I'm just going to upload that video as a separate video. I'll call it FNAF Designs. There we go. That's what I'll call it. But I will continue what I was saying in that last video. The last part of it before it cut off. I'm gonna go look over the Freddy's in the main games, FNAF 1 through 6. The side games like SL, not SL. SL's the main game. Side games like Ultimate Custom Night and FNAF World. The Nixon games, those nights at Rachel's. The canceled those nights at Fredbear's, and the Joy of Creation, Vigil version, Reborn, etc. All that. We're looking at all that. I'm even gonna look at the books. And when the movie comes out, I'll do a part 2 to this if they add any new Freddy's in there. So they probably will. Every world has new animatronics in it that's exclusive. Like the book series had the Twisted and the Wolf and a few other miscellaneous animatronics that are just mentioned. But yeah. But the movies aren't out yet, so I'm not going to go off them. I'm just going off the games and the books. I'm not going to go over Funkos because they have too many, I swear. They have all their mystery minis. There's like Mystery Mini Freddy, Mystery Mini Toy Freddy. Plus and you might be thinking, oh, that's just that version of the original Freddy and that version of Toy Freddy. It's not a new Freddy. Alright, well, I see him as, so there's not like a million worlds out there. I see the Funko merch as all one world. Kind of like how FNAF World. How the Wizards and all of them exist in the same place at the same time, even though they're supposed to be the same people. Imagine it's a world kind of like that. That's what I like to picture it as. So, the mystery minis and everything, even the little minifigures, yeah, they're just, yeah. And plus, there's new characters in the mystery minis. Like, there's Endoskeleton Freddy, who I think is supposed to be the stand-in for the Endoskeleton in FNAF 2, or maybe even the Endoskeleton in FNAF 1. But it's not really Endoskeleton-y. It's not a stick. It's like a full-on animatronic, but he just has a metal suit. Even has a top hat. So that's a new Freddy. Plus, there was the glow-in-the-dark Freddy, which was a rare one, along with glow-in-the-dark Chica, which I guess was technically glow-in-the-dark Toy Freddy. Then they made the glow ones their own line, which means there's 2 glow-in-the-dark versions of Toy Freddy and 2 glow-in-the-dark versions of Toy Chica. And it's just, come on. You already had 2 glow ones. Now you're making a whole line of glow ones? Why didn't you just save it? Now there's pointlessly 2 glow-in-the-dark Freddys. Or two glow-in-the-dark Toy Freddys, I should say. Come on, that's pointless. Okay, but my point is there's like 3 or 4 different versions of Blacklight Freddy. I remember it started out with the plushies. There was a green cupcake, and there's 2 Freddys and 3 Foxies. Alright, that was fine. Then they started making Blacklight action figures and minifigures and even mystery minis. It's like, okay, now you're just trying to get as much money out of this as you can, and in the laziest way possible. If you want to make a brand new exclusive character to your little world you have there, like how the books introduced the wolf, go ahead. Make a brand new one. But don't just be lazy. Maybe having 1 recolor in there, just be like, oh, glow-in-the-dark Freddy, that's cool. Just like how FNAF 1, Golden Freddy was just a recolored Freddy, but he was cool. Everyone loved him. But just recoloring a whole line and releasing it, it's like, come on. I'm not gonna try to buy all them again eventually. No. You're just trying to get money. You don't respect the franchise. Plus, I have to say, some of Funko's merch is pretty decent, like this Freddy. Nose doesn't honk though, but I guess they couldn't figure out how to do that. And everything else they do is cool. That Fredbear and that Foxy is actually Sanchi. They started making the merch before Funko did, and their merch is much better. More game accurate. But yeah, there's some of their stuff is pretty fine, like this one. But their action figures are, their first wave of them were infamous for falling apart easy. This toy Freddy plushie, crooked ass nose. Okay, there's a few other plushies here that have their issues, but I only want to focus on one more. Rockstar Freddy. Look at those weird eyes. That is just weird. That's not right. Here's what it is. Funko, for years, they made their pop figures, and that's what they made exclusively. And then when they got the hands on FNAF, they decided to branch out and start making other things. The main good things they have are their pop figures. Which I don't think the pop figures, don't exist in the same world as the rest of the merch. I think the pop figures of the animatronics exist in the world where all the other pop figures exist. That's just my personal belief. There's some exclusive animatronics in the pop figures, but I'm not going to go over them either. I'm not going to really go over merch because there's just too much. Because there's not just Funko. There's other companies that are also making merch. So it's just like, okay, I'm not going to try to search all that down. Maybe sometime in the future, but not now. So, I'm not. My point is, I'm not going to cover all the different versions of, Freddy's from the Funko lines and shit. That's just too much. So I'm just going to cover the games, the main games, the side games, the Nixon games, the books. That's it. No more. No more than that. So we start off in FNAF 1 with Freddy Fazbear himself. FNAF 1 Freddy. Call him just Freddy. Call him Freddy Fazbear. Call him the original Freddy. Call him Classic Freddy. Whatever you want to call him. FNAF 1 Freddy. This is Freddy. In the trailer, he has a bit of witheredness on his hand, but in the game, that's not there. And in future references that Scott uses his model for, that wither spot isn't there.
Sarah, come in there.
Yes, Sarah can come in here. Hey, Sarah. Anyway. But yeah, he can come from either the left or the right. If your power runs out, he'll come from the left and do his Torador march. And once that's over, if it doesn't turn over to 6, he'll jump scare you, you're dead. And in Ultimate Custom Night, he comes to the left on his own, which is weird because he's a right side animatronic. It's weird. And normally, he starts out on the stage, then he goes into the dining area, the women's bathroom, the kitchen, and then the right hallway, till he gets to the cam, not cam 2B, the other one on the other side. He gets into that cam, and unlike Bonnie and Chica, he doesn't stand in the doorway and let you flash the light on him and close the door on him. He actually just goes right on in. So whenever you see him in the cam, close the door, and just whenever you're in the camera, make sure the door's closed. And when you're not in the camera, open the door. So every time you're about to check the camera, close the door. Till you eventually hear his laugh, and he's gone. But he'll be back. And he stays there for a long time. The trick is to watch him up on the stage, just like you do Foxy, to keep him from moving. If he does get off the stage, find him, and keep an eye on him. Keep him from moving faster. But I warn you, he's hard to find. Just look for his glowing eyes in the back. It's creepy. Well, of course it's creepy. It's no doubt it's creepy. Well, yeah, that's Freddy. And in Ultimate Custom Night, I hate how some of the characters act out of character in Ultimate Custom Night. Like Freddy. He's not a basic animatronic like Bonnie and Chica. He doesn't just do the simple things. I like how he just went straight into your room. I like that. No, now he's like Bonnie and Chica. He stands outside the doorway and you gotta close on him. I'm not a fan of that. But hey, Scott needed a way to fit a bunch of characters in. Maybe he had no other choice. Maybe this was the only way. Next is Golden Freddy. FNAF 1 Golden Freddy to be specific. Now, Golden Freddy in the first game wasn't a main animatronic. He was just an Easter egg. It wasn't until the second game is when he became a main animatronic. Golden Freddy is a spring suit. And he was one of the original animatronics that was there when the place first opened. After a few spring lock failures, the spring suits were deemed unusable because they were too dangerous. And Golden Freddy had his main endo chest piece taken out, which is why you see his endo legs and arms in the joints, but he can't move because his main chest piece is removed. Can't move without that. So instead, the spirit that possesses him in the games, it's Cassidy, a little girl. In the books, it's Michael, a little boy. His ghost just leaves the suit and just shapeshifts, because ghosts can do that. They can take on any form. Shapeshifts into his golden form and just appears in the office. His jump scare noise sounds different from the other animatronics in the first game. It's the same noise, but deepened. It's deeper. If you slow it down, it actually is the regular noise that the other animatronics make. Golden Freddy is the fifth child who was murdered, and is also, for some reason, the child that's the most angry at Vincent, or William, Dave, whatever you go, purple guy, Springtrap, Scraptrap, whatever you call him. He has 100 different names. The fans know him as Vincent, but his official name is William. I'm gonna say Vincent, just to make it clear. I'm just gonna stick to one name. For some reason, Golden Freddy is the most mad at Vincent, even though it would make more sense for the puppet, because the puppet being the first murdered child. For some reason, Goldie is the most mad. Probably because he was killed on it, or she, depending on which world you're going off of. Probably because they were killed on their birthday, which sucks. That's sad. I mean, that's why he's most pissed. But yeah, unlike the other animatronics who are under the puppet's control, he's their puppet master. Golden Freddy, unlike the others, has become a vengeful spirit, a poltergeist. The other animatronics try to protect the kids, as we see in FNAF 2. Save them, save them. And they would see in the Silver Eyes book, the animatronics seem like they're attacking the main characters. But in actuality, when they get them and take them away, they don't kill them. They just hide them. They're trying to protect them from the purple guy. So if you're under 17, the original 4 animatronics, they won't harm you. They'll protect you. Not Golden Freddy, though. Golden Freddy has become a poltergeist, a vengeful spirit who will attack and kill anything because he's so full of rage he just can't control it. He's lost his mind completely. Golden Freddy don't like the puppet. Golden Freddy refuses to be a puppet to the puppet. Golden Freddy goes off on his own. And that's Golden Freddy. In the first game, he's just Freddy recolored, but also when he's in the office, he's actually bigger than Freddy. And we know that thanks to the thank you image. As we see, Golden Freddy looks bigger than Freddy. I assume the actual physical suit is just the same size as Freddy. I'm assuming the ghost form makes it look bigger to be scarier. But he appears slunched over. In the first game, his head leans towards the left. No, wait, no, my bad. It leans towards the right in the first game. And leans pretty far right, too. In the second game, it leans to the left, but not a whole lot, just a little. His mouth is always unhinged. And when you type in 1987 in the custom night, he'll jump scare you. It used to just crash your game and close out completely, but I think later on Scott updated it to where that wouldn't happen. Instead, he just takes you back to the main beginning, even with the warning at the beginning. That's what he does now, because I guess people found the game crashing to be annoying. And that's Golden Freddy. And that's the Freddys in the first 2. FNAF 1 Golden Freddy does make a cameo in Ultimate Custom Night at the very end, So I'll mention that. It's the whole story with that game. The one you should not have killed. So it's Vincent in hell, suffering for all eternity in his own personal hell, where a lot of animatronics, 50 plus like 6 more, are all coming after him. And the one pulling the strings and controlling it, FNAF 1 Golden Freddy. While at the same time, FNAF 2 Golden Freddy attacks. That's kind of the story of the game. That's what the final cutscene means. Just like how in the FNAF 3 trailer when Springtrap was all twitchy, we see in this last cutscene, which is probably the last cutscene of the main story of the FNAF games. Unless the VR game's canon, but we'll worry about that later. We see Golden Freddy twitching the exact same way, showing that the spirit is still active. It's still sticking around. It's still angry and restless. And it'll never let go. It'll just keep torturing Vincent for all eternity for the crimes that he has committed. For some reason, she'll never let go. She refuses to let go. Even when Old Man Consequences pleads for her to move on. Everyone's dead. Everyone's in hell or in heaven or wherever. They passed on. Let go and move on. She refuses. She's just going to torture him forever and ever and ever. And that's Golden Freddy. Now, FNAF 2. Now here's where some confusion comes in. Some people are confused whether or not the Wizards are different animatronics or older versions of the FNAF 1 animatronics. I think it's older versions of the FNAF 1 animatronics. Some people pointing out that the suits look different, and some people said, well, when they got moved to FNAF 1 again, because FNAF 2 was a prequel, when they got moved to FNAF 1 and fixed up, they just put new suits on the endos. But some people pointing out that the endos in the first 2 games are different. One is kind of like a while the other one is like a Does that make sense? Just look up the endoskeletons. You'll find what I'm talking about. But yeah, here's what I think. I think it's the same computer chip, the motherboard, the mainframe, the same computer chip, which is kind of like the animatronic's brain. I think they're saving those and just put them in a new endoskeleton. That's what I think. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? That's what I think. So even though Wizard Freddy and all that are the same as the ones I just mentioned, because in the FNAF world, they're 2 different ones. It's just like Hamato Yoshi and Splinter. In the original verse, they're 2 separate people. In 87 and a few other worlds, they're one and the same. Things are kind of like that from different worlds. And in some different worlds, say FNAF world, there are 2 different animatronics. So I'm just going to say every form of every character, even though it's supposed to be the same character, in another world it could be a different character. So I'm going over the Wizard forms. Wizard Freddy starts out in the parts and service room lying down with his hat off. He starts coming out on night 3. FNAF 1 Freddy also started to come out on night 3, but he wouldn't really attack you and get close to your room until night 4. Not this Freddy though. This Freddy will attack you on night 3. He'll start out in the parts and service room. Then he'll stand by the girls' bathroom. A little nod in reference to the first game. And he might go into one of the party rooms, I don't remember which one, where he'll stand and stare into the camera with one of his eyes black, which led some people to believe that Wizard Freddy was missing an eye. No, he just turned his eye like that. Then he'll just come straight down the hall. And unlike the other animatronics, the Freddys are immune to the flashlight. I guess their eyes are stronger. Foxy, it's the only way to get them to go away. The other animatronics, it works on them too, but the preferred method is to use the mask. But for Freddy, oh no, it doesn't work. Freddy, Toy Freddy, it doesn't work. Golden Freddy, it actually makes him kill you faster. It's like his trigger. So that's the thing. Yeah, he'll just get closer and closer until he's standing in your office holding onto the fan. Put the mask on fast enough, he'll disappear. He's out. Bye-bye. That's Freddy. Freddy is one of the murdered children. His name's Gabriel. Forgot to mention that. It's confirmed in game number 6. In the book verse, it's implied that it's someone different, but they never give a name. But anyway, then there's Toy Freddy. I'm going to save Golden Freddy for last. Toy Freddy. A new version of, not a new version, it's a new animatronic entirely. It's not just another version of the same one. At least in the original world isn't. But yeah, Toy Freddy. A brand new animatronic. Meant to be the replacement for this one. And it also uses some pieces from Freddy, which some people theorize that's how they're possessed. Some people think it's the same spirits, although conflicting evidence says that it's another set of 5 kids who got murdered. Whatever you think it is, whatever. I'm not here to theorize on stuff. I'm just here to go off what is official and then confirmed and just talk about the different Freddys. Toy Freddy is, well, the most underrated animatronic. He's not the most hated, that's Balloon Boy. But he's the one that the people care about the least. Poor Toy Freddy, man. He's fat. He comes out on night 1 instead of one of the later nights, showing that he's not a big, serious animatronic. No, he's one of the lower class ones. Even though he acts exactly the same as Withered Freddy. Slightly different, but mainly the same. Starts up on the stage, and then he goes to where Balloon Boy is, in the game area. Then he goes straight down the hall. Then he'll get closer to right outside the big front door. Now here's where the difference comes in. You're supposed to wait till he gets in the room, just like Freddy, and then put the mask on. But you can put your mask on when he's right out there. Pretend my window is the FNAF 2 door. When he's right out there, you can put the mask on, and if you leave it on like long enough, he'll go away. Although on later nights, that's not recommended because that takes too long, and the puppet's gonna get out. So maybe on the first 2 nights, that's fine, but later nights, don't do that. That's just gonna cause you to get killed. And that's Toy Freddy. And Scott gave some little info about Toy Freddy. I like it when he does this with his characters. He doesn't do it with all of them, and he doesn't do it often, but when he does, it's like, oh. Toy Freddy's retired. After they were scrapped at the end of the second game, Toy Freddy's retired, and he likes to just sit back and read a good book next to the fireplace. I like that. I still remember that. Wish I could find the original post. I could probably find it if I search for it. But I like it. I like it when he gives personality and character to the characters. I wish he does that for all of them, but oh well. And in Ultimate Custom Night, he sits in the parts and service room because once again he's retired. Scott made a little reference to that. Since he's retired, he doesn't have to worry about nothing. He's just playing games. But because he has thick plastic fingers, he can't press the buttons right. He can't even press them, so I don't even know why he's trying to play, but he is. So the player has to play his game for him to make sure he doesn't get jump scared. And if he does, he'll just jump scare you. Close both doors all you want. Once he leaves that room, he doesn't appear anywhere else on camera. And he'll just jump into the room no matter what and kill you. And he has a few lines he says, but I don't remember them all. One of them is like, "Mr. Hugs, get me again. That's what you get for leaving me hanging. If I get jump scared, you get jump scared. It's not my fault. I have these fat plastic fingers and can't press the buttons." I think that might be all of them. But yeah, a lot of Eats Goes Boom. This is unofficial, but I'm just going off this because this was my headcanon for a while till it was changed. Thanks to Scott. I always pictured him as British. Crumpets and tea. But I guess that's not the case. He's just a goofy guy. Sounds like a doofus. I think the reason why he didn't give Freddy a voice in Ultimate Custom Night is because he's scared of what the fans will think. Everyone pictures Freddy as like, "Hey kids, I'm Freddy Fazbear." Like a deep, strong voice. But not like scary, but like tough. Like a good role model to look up to. When Toy Freddy over here is like, "If I get jump scared, you get jump scared." And Rockstar Freddy's like, "Please deposit 5 coins." Though I guess maybe the original Freddy's voice is supposed to be something along those lines. But Scott sees that the fans don't, so he doesn't know if the fans will accept that, so he didn't give him a voice. And then there's Funtime Freddy, but that's a whole different thing entirely. Bon, go get him! We'll save that for later. Next on the main animatronic list anyway, we'll get into Easter eggs in a second, is Golden Freddy. Withered Golden Freddy. But otherwise it's known as Golden Freddy because you can't double stack names for some reason. Why, Scott? Why? Why can't you double stack them? No. Well. But yeah, Withered Golden Freddy. He's again just a recolored model of Withered Freddy, except with one difference. Or two differences, actually. In the first game, he still had his eyes. They were just black with the white dots. You would never see him with his normal eyes. Here, he doesn't have eyes at all. It's just two black holes. With one of them, the wires are sticking out of it. And he's missing his left ear, and wires are coming out where his ear should be. Other than that, it's the exact same model as Freddy. Sometimes he'll appear in the office to the left, slunched over, like I said earlier, with his head tilted one way. And his head will come flying towards you, unlike in the first game where it just seems like he teleported in front of your face. He doesn't have his own jump scare noise in this one. He just uses the same as the rest of them. Sometimes he'll appear as a giant head at the end of the hall, and if you flash that thing too much, it'll jump scare you. And on a rare chance, he'll appear in the office and in the hall at the same time, implying that there's two Golden Freddys, or at least because he's a ghost, and we know, thanks to Danny Phantom, that this is a power ghosts have. They can split themselves up into multiple copies. Golden Freddy probably split himself into two and sent one version of him down the hall to shapeshift into a head. That's probably what happened. It's like he's double there. But yeah, he appears on night 6. And there's actually a rare chance. There's a high chance that you actually won't see him on night 6. Because I've seen some people make it very far and didn't see him once. But he's got to appear at least once. It's supposed to be the night he emerges. It's a big deal. Eh. Oh well. Oh, I forgot. FNAF 1s also appear in cutscenes in FNAF 2. Where you're playing as, insert Freddy here. That's a spoiler. I can't tell it yet. I haven't got to that Freddy yet. You're looking left and right, and each night that Bonnie and Chica look, first they start looking away from you, slightly looking at you, staring directly at you. Golden Freddy shows up, the puppet shows up. Those cutscenes get weird. First it says error, then it says it's me. It just keeps saying that. But yeah, so the FNAF 1s appear there too. We can't forget about that. So FNAF 1 Golden Freddy makes an appearance there. And that's where we really get to see that he's just FNAF 1 Freddy recolored. In the book verse, Golden Freddy and Fredbear are one and the same. Well, in the game verse, it's unconfirmed, but I personally think they're different. Alright, so now we're going to move on to Easter eggs. We're going to move on to Easter eggs now. I got everything said and done that I wanted to say. The first Easter egg Freddy from the second game that I want to bring up is Shadow Freddy. Known as Purple Freddy by some people. And for the longest time, that's what people just knew him as. But me, from the beginning, I always knew it was Shadow Freddy. And I always get mad when people call him Purple Freddy, because it's like, that's not that cool. It's not as cool as Shadow Freddy. Luckily nowadays, the name Shadow Freddy has stuck more, because Scott officially made it his name. But yeah, Shadow Freddy is called Shadow Freddy because when you first see him, here's how you get him. Wait until there's no one in the parts and service room, and just click the monitor up and down until he shows up. He's called Shadow Freddy because when you first see him, he looks black, like a shadow, with only glowing white eyes and teeth. Not exactly glowing, because you have to shine the flashlight to see it. It's not like Shadow Bonnie, where if he's standing in darkness, that's all you'll see is those eyes and teeth. His teeth glow a little, and they are white in his eyes, but they're not like that. He's just a recolored Golden Freddy. His ear missing, wires at the eye, same thing, but he's colored not black, which is what gave him the name Shadow Freddy. He's actually a very, very, very dark purple. You can only tell that when you take the picture of him and brighten it up, and you can see that he's purple. Which is also why some people call him Purple Freddy. And unlike Golden Freddy in the first game and Shadow Bonnie in the second game, where as soon as you see them and they just jump scare you or fade away, your game crashes. You have to be staring at him for a while in order for your game to crash. I'm not sure how long is a while, but you got to be staring at him for a bit. Then he'll crash your game. Now, for years, it was a mystery. Not years. For months, it was a mystery. Every other character could be figured out. Like, oh, possessed by the 5 kids. Oh, he must be the 5th child, or etc., etc. But the shadows, people had no clue. Some people think they're the ghosts of people who got killed by the animatronics, taking on the form of the animatronic that killed them, which is what some people still go by today. My friend Kat goes off that logic. Because one looked like Shadow Freddy, one looked like Golden Freddy, and one looked like Toy Bonnie. But Matt Pat came up with the theory that it's the ghost of the employees who died in the spring suits during those multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures. Which is what I went off of for a while. That's what I thought it was. That's what I was going by. But some things didn't line up. There was a Spring Bonnie head that kind of looked like Toy Bonnie's head. So I thought, oh, okay, that's the suit that the person died in to become Shadow Bonnie. Alright, that's what that is. But, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. I don't know. The shadows are still a big mystery. And it's still a mystery on whose side they're on, puppets or Springtraps. Kate thinks they're on Springtraps. Well, I thought they were on Puppet's side. I thought the reason why he was leading them to a purple guy is because he would be setting them free by destroying the bodies. They can go in there and get their revenge. But Kat thinks he's evil and he was working for Purple Guy, leading them to him so he could destroy them. It would make sense why Shadow Freddy's purple then, because he's on Purple Guy's side. But Shadow Bonnie is actually one of the things you got to do to set them free in FNAF 3 to the good ending. You got to click the Shadow Bonnie plush, and then you play as a purple version of Shadow Bonnie, and you give the final kid a cake, and he helps set them free. So what if one Shadow is a good guy, one Shadow is a bad guy? That's just the theory, though. But now there's still a mystery of who are they? Employees who died? More kids? I don't know. Point is, Shadow Freddy's a thing. He kind of makes an appearance again in FNAF 3. We'll worry about that later. Now, Paper Pal Freddy. Now, in the second game, there's the Paper Pals in one of the cameras. There's a Paper Pal Freddy, a Paper Pal Bonnie, and a third one which people still don't know. Some people think Balloon Boy, some think Puppet, some think it's not any character and it's just supposed to be something else. But in the game files, it's just called Paper Pal, so that's what people call it. Paper Plate Boy or whatever. And sometimes it leaves that room and appears in the office. And some people theorize who put it there and how did it get there. Because Chica and Toy Bonnie all go into that room. But when the game files were hacked and found out that it has an AI, it moves on its own. It's fucking possessed like the animatronics are. So Paper Pal's possessed. And at first we thought it was just that one, but in the third game we see that the other two move around as well, so they're all possessed. So Paper Pal Freddy goes on the list. Not much is known about him, like who possesses him and why. Who gave him life? Did the puppet give life? Did he ran out of animatronics, so he had to put the souls inside the Paper Pals? Why did he give them life? Puppet just has a crazy fetish for giving life. He can't help himself. He says, like, give life to everything. Life. This is why Henry tried to stop him in the 6th game. Because he was also becoming a problem. he thought he was doing good by trying to stop Vincent, but he was just making it worse. But that's something I'll talk about later. We're just talking about Freddy's here. I keep going off on tangents. If this goes on for an hour, I'll have to make a part 2. And yeah, there's this. The second game is where we hear a reference to Fredbear's Family Diner. And at first, people thought Fredbear and Freddy were the same thing. And some people still think that, but I'll get into that later. When we get around to FNAF 4. I'll talk about that. But for now, I'm not going to bring that up. I'm just going to say, in the mini-games, we see where the puppet gets killed, and people speculate that that's the first Fredbears. We see an orange bear with a big-ass top hat. And at first I thought, alright, that's what Fredbear looks like. But everyone speculated that Golden Freddy was Fredbear, and I was like, nah. Then FNAF 4 came about and revealed that Fredbear is yellow. Golden even, so I'm like, okay. Okay, maybe he started out as orange with a big-ass hat, and then he was redesigned into the yellow thing with a little purple hat. Or, I don't know. Maybe Puppet was not murdered outside Fredbear's? Maybe he was murdered outside Freddy's instead? Or, maybe Fredbear wasn't the only one in the place. Maybe there were others and not just Fredbear. We know Fredbear and at least the Puppet are in there because Puppet gets possessed there. In my headcanon, Fredbear was the only one, and it was the way that way for the longest. And then they just built the Puppet, and then kid got murdered out there and later possessed the Puppet. But future evidence in the future games contradict that. So now my new headcanon is Fredbear, Spring Bonnie, and the Puppet were there in the first Fredbears. And maybe a prototype Freddy suit. I'm not sure. I'm just putting that on there as a maybe that's a thing, maybe that's not a thing. That's just a maybe. I'm just putting it on there as a maybe. Now we move on to FNAF 3. Here's where things are going to get, well, this is where things get confusing. So I'm going to start with Phantom Freddy. In the third game, Phantom Freddy is missing a leg, while in other forms of it, like in the adventure, in the FNAF world, he has both legs. And in some promotional art, he has both legs. In the merch, he has both legs. Except for the merch that's not made by Funko. There's merch that's kind of made by these people that kind of make Lego type deals. These people. Their Phantom Freddy has only one leg. So they got that right. But for some reason, a lot of people keep missing the fact that he has only one leg, even Scott himself. But yeah, he has only one leg. And here's where things are weird. It's just called Phantom Freddy, and that confused people. It's actually Golden Freddy in the third form that he gets. There is no original Freddy in the third game. From this point on, well, he is in the third game, in mini games, and you see his decrepit Freddy outside the office. And then also you see his head at the end of the good ending and bad ending. But that's it. Don't worry about that. We're not worrying about that. Right now we're worrying about Phantom Freddy. And after this point, the original Freddy doesn't appear in the games anymore. He's not in FNAF 4. He's not in SL. Not in 6. And this is not there. It's gone. Their story ended at the third game. The original 5 murdered kids story ended the third game. So yeah, this is the last we see of him. So the thing that's always been a trademark character staple with Golden Freddy was that he's slumped over and sitting down, can't move. Yet here he's walking. Well, I know what you're thinking. It can't be Golden Freddy then. It's gotta be Freddy, right? Well, if you pause it and brighten it up on his jump scare, you see that he's yellow. Plus, he's got the missing ear with wires, and then the missing eye with wires. It's Golden Freddy. I think maybe both Golden Freddy and Freddy merged together. Maybe both of them merged together, kind of like a fusion dance thing. minus the dance part. They just merge together and take on the form of Phantom Freddy. That's just my headcanon, that's not confirmed. And the reason why he's just called Phantom Freddy is because, again, for some reason, Scott doesn't like to double stack the names. I don't understand, but it's a thing. So that's Phantom Freddy. He'll appear outside your window, and he'll just walk. Or more like limp. Just taking a stroll. If you stare at him too long, he'll fall over, just seem to disappear. Then he appears in the room and jump scares you, causing your ventilation to go out. Here's how you avoid him. Just go about your business and don't stare at him and don't look at him. You just open up your camera and continue doing your business. And you should just see him walk on by. And he's just gone. That's how you get rid of him. Now for the next Freddy. Well, there's the decrepit Freddy, as Markiplier called it. It's the dead FNAF 1 Freddy out there. It doesn't do much, it's just there. Then there's the Freddy on the poster, which I'm kind of stretching this one here, but I have a theory. Things don't seem to really line up. But why? I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's Freddy. I mean, I think it's Freddy. I don't think it's the same Freddy as FNAF 1 Freddy. I think that's a whole other Freddy counterpart altogether. Why does Bonnie have 2 toes? And why does Chica not have a bib? Why is Bonnie blue? I know that Scott retconned Bonnie to be blue because I guess he wanted it to be blue instead of purple. Probably because he didn't want people to mix him up with the purple guy anymore. But, come on, he started out blue. That's what he is. It's canon. You can't go back on that. He started out purple. So, the fact that Bonnie on the poster has 1 button, 2 toes, and he's blue, little buck teeth, and Chica has buck teeth too. It just doesn't line up. You could say it's another redesign of the originals, but I don't think so. I think it's a whole new version. So there's that version of Freddy up there. And there's also some spare Freddy heads in the back room of the first game. We see it when you're looking in the parts and service and on the game over screen. There's some heads back there that don't look like FNAF 1 Freddy, but kind of look similar to FNAF 2 Freddy, but without eyebrows and without top teeth. That's what I think it is. I think that's what that Freddy is. But I could be wrong. And I'm not going to count every head in there as its own animatronic. I mean, technically they are, but I'm just going to mention them as a whole, and there you go. Sometimes they're just sitting straight, and sometimes they all stare at you. That's creepy. Next, Freddy would be the one we see slouched over in the corner, which some people say is Golden Freddy. Some people say it's Shadow Freddy. Some say it's a whole new Freddy. And for a few people like me, I thought it was Freddy, just Freddy. I thought him and Golden Freddy switched places. Now Freddy's the one slumped over. But when you brighten it up, it's actually pink, implying that maybe it's Shadow Freddy? But Shadow Freddy was purple, not pink. It's still unknown which Freddy that is, but that's a Freddy. There's no doubt about that. That's a Freddy. Next, we go to minigames. As we see in the minigames where the animatronics are getting chopped up, there's some inaccuracies there, which made me think the ones in the minigames and the one we see on the posters throughout the game are that's those. But I think it's just the FNAF ones now. That's my theory. I think the reason why Bonnie is blue in this minigame instead of purple is so he sticks out from the black, kind of purplish floor. I think the minigame isn't completely accurate. Just maybe Scott just made him blue here so he wouldn't mix him up with purple guy. But also, something that doesn't line up is the FNAF 1s don't have buttons. FNAF 2s had buttons, but the FNAF 1s didn't. And as we see on the poster, throughout the game, they had buttons, or at least 1 button. And in this minigame, they have 1 button, and Chica's missing a bib. And her legs are orange all the way up to here, when usually they're to the knee or just on the foot. And Foxy doesn't appear to have shorts or broken legs. I think it's just sprite inaccuracy. It could all just be a coincidence. It could just be a coincidence. But I'm marking this down because this is where Shadow Freddy shows up. And here's where some debate happens. Is it actually Shadow Freddy from the second game? Is it really a ghostly figure leading the animatronics away? Or is it just purple guy in a spare Freddy suit that's purple? Or was it even purple? Is it just purple in the minigame for symbolism to show that purple guy's the one wearing it? Is it actually purple guy in the golden Freddy suit? Or is it just a new Freddy altogether and it's purple Freddy? That is debatable. So I'm just mentioning that as a maybe. That's the maybe. Next, we move on to, well, this one's also a maybe because I'm not sure. Stage 01, the first part of it anyway. The second part was with Shadow Bonnie. We've already mentioned that. The Stage 01 minigame where you have to press tiles on a wall like they're a keypad. And you play as a golden Freddy or a Fredbear with a brown hat, and we can't see a bow tie. Maybe Scott forgot to add the bow tie in. But people just thought it was Golden Freddy. But when FNAF 4 came out and we seen Fredbear and he's fat, and then we look at this Golden Freddy who looks kind of chunky, I have some sneaking suspicions that is actually a Fredbear. But I'm just gonna mention it just in case. And it might be a new Freddy, it might be a Fredbear, it might be Fredbear, it might be the Fredbear, it might be a new Fredbear. Or it might just be Golden Freddy but with a brown hat so it doesn't stick, so it doesn't blend in with the black background. Or maybe at one point in time, Golden Freddy had a brown hat. I don't know. In the first game, his hat was black with hints of brown, white, and blue in it. Same thing with his tie. While in the second game, he had just all black. And because Golden Freddy's hat had bits of blue on it, a lot of fan art just drew him with a full-on blue hat and tie, which is not correct. Eventually, that stuff died out. Not to say I hated it. I actually want to see it be done officially, but that's neither here nor there. Oh my god, I was hoping to get it to at least FNAF 4, but I guess maybe 3 might be where I end this, because we're almost at an hour. Now we still got 13 minutes. I can do this. So yeah, I'm mentioning that one. And there's also Toy Freddy's head in the box, which, as we hear from the phone guy's replacement, because he's dead. We hear from the phone dude that not everything in the building is, authentic. Some of it might be just a cosplay. Which I might believe that because Chica's eyebrows are missing. Toy Chica's eyebrows are missing in the box. Balloon Boy's hat is missing in the box. And there's a Mangle head in the box. Yeah, we see another Mangle in the building. Just like a burnt, kind of falling apart, destroyed. I think parts of its body that were there in the second game are missing here. I think it's hanging up on the ceiling as a jump scare prop. To swing down like, boo! It's an inactive animatronic. It's too damaged and broken to even move anymore. That's why Springtrap is said to be the only real one there. But then again, why don't they count the puppet? Unless they don't know the puppet's there. The puppet just followed Springtrap there. That's for another story, though. But yeah, I figured I might as well mention that Freddy. That possible fake Toy Freddy. Anyway. At the end, when you get the good ending, all the lights in the heads are turned off, and there's happy music playing. It says the end. It's implying that that's truly the end. The 5 souls have been set free. As we see in the Happiest Day minigame, where the puppet goes past some other colorful mask characters, we'll get to them later, to the 5 kids in the back, who are all grayed out and wearing masks, except for one kid. But once the puppet's there and he gives them the cake, he puts on the mask, or she puts on the mask, and they all disappear and their masks fall, and balloons float away. Except for Puppet's mask. His mask falls slower, implying that he still has some unfinished business. He's not going away just yet. But that's FNAF 3. At the end, it burns down, but Springtrap survives. He gets sold at a local auction. And for all we know, that's where the story ends. Now we move on to FNAF 4. Now, here's where some confusion starts when we first seen the teasers. For the longest, I was confused whether or not these were new animatronics or just a new form of the originals, like the Wizards and the Phantoms were. But for the longest time, I settled on, oh, it's new forms of the originals. My personal headcanon theory for the longest time was, you're not actually playing as the crying child like everyone thinks. You're playing as his brother, who feels guilt for the murder of his own brother. So now he has a dream where animatronics are coming to kill him. And I thought it was the souls of the actual murdered kids of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, pulling a Freddy Krueger and going to his dreams ghost style. It's not just a Freddy thing. Ghosts in general can infiltrate dreams. We see that on Danny Phantom. So that's what I thought was happening. I thought, it's like Freddy. If you die in a dream, you die for real. I thought the puppet was the one sending them in there, because the puppet always pulls the strings. But future games kind of make that not the case. It's confusing. Not here to pick apart the complete story, just here to pick apart the individual characters. So, Nightmare Freddy. I think he's a different animatronic, so I'm going to say that. And I'm not counting his little Freddles as Freddy's also. I'm counting those as separate characters. Mike, Greg, and Bob is what I nicknamed them in high school with a friend. And those names have just stuck with me ever since. Their name as a whole, all three of them together, are the Freddles. And I call them the Freddles, Mike, Greg, and Bob. I like those. I don't know, it rolls off the tongue. Mike, Greg, and Bob. Mike, Greg, and Bob. I like that. But yeah, Nightmare Freddy. He takes on the form of the plushie behind you that you can boop the nose of. If you boop it 20 times on night 1, it'll summon Fox and he'll kill you. If you let the Freddles build up, once all three of them are there and they're there for a minute, the plushie will turn into Nightmare Freddy and kill you. Either when you turn around or when the room goes black, it'll jump in front of you. That's how that works. Now, despite what everyone believes, Fredbear is not a Freddy. I know. You're probably shocked and confused, and you're probably going to type in the comments like, "You idiot! Yes, he is." Blah blah. Just hear me out here. Hear me out. In the show Fredbear and Friends, 1983, that little Easter egg, we see Fredbear, of course, it's his show, standing inside Foxy. Then it cuts to Bonnie. And then it cuts to Chica. And then it cuts to Freddy. Hold up. If Freddy and Fredbear are just two different versions of the same character, like how, say, Leonardo in 1987 and Leonardo in 2012 are two versions of Leonardo. They're the same character, but they're two different versions of the same character. That's kind of like how it is for all the different Freddy variants. Toy Freddy is just another Freddy, etc. They're just counterparts to each other. How does it make sense for Freddy and Fredbear to exist in the same show together if they're supposed to be the same person? It doesn't. They're two different characters. And that's probably the same case with Bonnie and Spring Bonnie. Even though Spring Bonnie is literally just the word spring put in front of Bonnie, implying that it's another form of a Bonnie. But because it's partnered up with Fredbear, how could Bonnie be both Freddy in Freddy's band and with Fredbear at the same time, plus be two different colors? Spring Bonnie is also a different character. It's just a different character with the same name. Or part of the same name, anyway. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to count Nightmare Fredbear or Nightmare. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to be covering that one. So that's all there is in FNAF 4. That's the only Freddy's. That's the only Freddy in FNAF 4. The FNAF 1 Freddy does not make a reappearance here, either in his FNAF 1 form in a cutscene or anything, nor in a brand new form like we thought the Nightmares were at first. It's true. After the third game, the originals are just gone from the franchise. They're gone from the series up until the books. And Ultimate Custom Night. They're just gone. Sad. Oh, Golden Freddy in FNAF 2, Withered Golden Freddy, makes a reappearance in Ultimate Custom Night. Works the exact same way as in FNAF 2. They put the mask down. It works like he does in FNAF 2 and 1. You can put the mask down or put the camera up. You see how to do it fast. It went back to just a still image jump scaring you, but it's not all up in your face. It's like right there from a safe distance. It doesn't come flying at you. And it's the same jump scare from FNAF 2. And he doesn't say anything when he talks. When you kill him, he doesn't say anything. But there is a secret. If you get him on 1 difficulty and kill him with a death coin, you'll get a Fredbear jump scare. And like I said, Fredbear is not a Freddy, so I'm not counting that one, but I'm just mentioning it because it's connected to something Freddy related. But anyway, that's FNAF 4. Now, this is where things are gonna get a little. I only have 4 minutes left, and I want to save FNAF World for the next part, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, because I don't want to just waste 4 minutes. I have to talk about something. I think I'll talk about the books, just real quick. Like I said, the Freddy in Silver Eyes is the exact same model as Freddy from the game, minus the handprint over his eye, around his eye area. I don't think he has any buttons or anything, and I think he's the same height. It's pretty much the same Freddy, except because the restaurant's been closed for a little bit, he's a little bit withered. Not as bad as Withered Freddy, but just like little bits of wither here and there. And that's Silver Eyes Freddy. Silver Eyes Golden Freddy, probably just the same thing as Silver Eyes Freddy, just remodeled. And then the Silver Eyes, Golden Freddy and Fredbear are one and the same. That's the Silver Eyes. No, there is an unknown spring suit, blue body, green head, which by default, if you don't know who it is, assume it's a Freddy. But for me, I'm counting that as a spring Bonnie. I just have a gut feeling that's a spring Bonnie. So, but because it's uncertain, I'm just gonna say blue body, green head. That's one of them. That's a possible Freddy right there. But yeah, that's the thing. There's a bunch of unused spring suits that are just miscellaneous, like blue body, green head, and etc., etc. For all we know, one of those could be a miscellaneous Freddy. Well, this video's been going on for about an hour. I'm going to upload this, go use the bathroom, delete this off my phone so I can save space, then start recording part 2 where I'm going to talk about FNAF World. And FNAF World, oh boy, there's a lot of Freddys. A lot of exclusive brand new Freddys. Plus the Freddys from the main games coming back, including the original, Withered, and the Phantoms, even though they're all the same person, but in this little universe they're all different. It's a mind screw, but it's a thing. We'll have to go over that, and that's next time though. That's next time. We'll cover that next time. Oh boy. Alright, and I guess the last minute, 10 seconds I could say, leave a comment down below. Out of the Freddys I've mentioned in this video, which Freddy's your favorite? And yes, if you want to, you can mention Fredbear, Nightmare Fredbear, Nightmare. You can mention one of them if you'd like, but this was about Freddy's, not, Fredbear or whatever. But if you want to leave that, then go ahead. I'm not going to judge. Which Freddy is your favorite Freddy? Let me know in the comments below. Curious. I'm just curious. I want to know. So yeah, a lot of people think there's a shit ton of Freddys. There are, but not as many as people think because they keep adding in Fredbear and other bear characters that aren't Freddy. So there is a lot of him, trust me. But there's not as much as everyone thinks because a lot of them aren't really him. Alright, guys. See y'all next time. Peace. Bye.